What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Game Channel. I'm AJ Gels. How's it going? We are back once more with the weekly show, and we took last week off just due to lack of content. If you can see, I have a bunch of stories up top, but in all honesty, kind of scraped the bottom of the barrel. I really didn't find anything that was too super interesting that I can spend, like any one topic that I'm going to sit here and spend a couple, 20 minutes on, so this show might end up being pretty quick. The last story I found interesting, and I might talk a little bit longer on that, but a lot of these are just kind of going to be either funny or just, just kind of, this is happening, not much to say about it. Now, one little note of housekeeping that I have to make. Next week, the weekly show may or may not be up on Saturday. It might be up Sunday night. It all depends. I've said this before a couple weeks ago, that I am going with my university's basketball team to our conference basketball tournament next week, because we won a game today, and another team in our conference lost. Basically, that means we play later in the week than I initially thought we would. So uploads will probably go until about Friday, and then they'll stop for a day or two because I'll be away from home and not able to upload. So there will be a couple days next week that uploading will stop, and I'm gonna guess it's gonna be Friday, Saturday, and if we make it to the finals, it'll be Sunday. So, I'm not dead. The channel's not closing down. There's just I'm away from home and I'm not able to upload. Also, then that would also displace the weekly show, and I'll do it on Sunday as opposed to next Saturday. So there we go. We got our little thing. So just don't freak out. Reference this video and whatnot. So here we go. First article we got here comes by way of IGN, written by Joe Screbbles. Assassin's Creed Ubisoft concentrating on Origins rather than a new game. Now, on the face of it, I think that's a good idea. Although I don't think that, I think Ubisoft's giving AC Origins kind of the Witcher treatment. In a way, we'll go and I'll give you my opinions on that. Why I think that in a second here. Give me a second. Excuse me. Alright, the article reads, Ubisoft is, and I quote, concentrating at the moment, end quote, on Assassin's Creed Origins rather than a new entry in the once annual franchise. Replying to an earnings call question asking if the series would return to a new game a year release schedule, Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot said, and I quote, we are concentrating at the moment on ACO, for which we are going to launch a few other DLCs, so you will be amazed by what will come on ACO. That's the only thing we can say now, end quote. Okay, so this is what I mean by, I think this is kind of getting the Witcher treatment. I've compared Assassin's Creed Origins to what The Witcher was. I don't want to say a dumbed down version, but I'd say a smaller version of what Witcher 3 did is very, I see a lot of The Witcher in what Assassin's Creed Origins was doing, and especially with the way they're releasing the DLCs as not just necessarily DLCs, but more like expansions. Now, the expansion that I'm currently playing, come on, what's the name of it? The Hidden Ones, which, yes, I will continue doing recordings for. I have a lot of stuff on my plate right now. I apologize. That DLC, there's also another one that I can't remember the exact title of. It's going to open up a new area in the game, I think called the Valley of Kings. So there's I think they're going to continue to just drop expansions for ACO and maybe do another one next year or whatever, but I don't think there's enough in ACO to do what The Witcher did, which is just release 2 massive expansions and that's it. But I think that's also just because the fan base and the type of games that Assassin's Creed is and how deep of an RPG that The Witcher is. They're very different kinds of games. So I think that they can get away with this with ACO for about a year and a half, but I think they're going to have to release a new one in the mainline franchise to continue on with this. Although, who knows, maybe they'll do a DLC that's entirely modern day stuff. I don't know what Ubisoft's inner machinations are, but I also, though, in their defense, they are also working on some other projects, specifically with Far Cry 5 coming out soon. I think that game's getting, I think it's already been confirmed 3 expansions. And mixed with the fact that if you get the Season Pass, I just like talking about this because I'm getting the Season Pass and going to be playing Far Cry 3 on the channel on my PS4, because, God, Far Cry 3 was good. Alright, let's see. Article continues. Guillemot went into some depth about the success of Origins, explaining that it is, and I quote, is on track to almost double players' playtime versus prior Assassin's Creed titles, end quote. Ubisoft director Alain Core called it, and I quote, "the success comeback of the Assassin's Creed franchise," unquote. Definitely. If I'm ever speaking too quickly, post in the comments, tell me to slow the hell down, and I will. It's how my head works. I think really quickly. The company clearly puts the success of Assassin's Creed and its other 2018 games down to slowing down production on the whole. Wait, down to okay, yeah, I'll agree with that. I think it's better to take the more time to polish. Yeah, right here, and I quote: "With more time to polish our games," explained Guillemot, "we have been able to release 3 high-quality titles since August." Yeah. "We have fully embraced the significant increases in resources required to develop ever bigger games," end quote. It seems the company's general push towards earning money, though, through service games such as The Division, Rainbow Six Siege, has also allowed for more polish in self-contained games such as Origins. See, I still don't like the service games concept. I'm still not a big fan. Division lasted a lot longer than I thought it would, but I still consider it a flash in the pan. I don't think, because every game's not going to be like Destiny or something like that and just going to keep getting people to come back. It's like MMOs. There's a few major ones, and then there's 1 or 2 smaller ones. They're different from normal genres. I don't want to say normal genres, or other genres, like a third-person shooter. There can be thousands of them. But there's not like the main ones and then the ones nobody plays. You know, I guess all genres are like that, but I think in the games as a service model, that's even more detrimental, because your game needs people to play it, while other games, you release it, the fact that people, even once they buy it, you're good. You don't. It's hard to explain exactly what I'm trying to lean at. I think the fact that you need concurrent players more in the service type games than you do in non-service type games. That's kind of what I'm getting at here. Let's see, games such as The Division, Rainbow Six Siege, yeah. But yeah, I think this general statement is correct. But I'm telling you know, I'd say this to Ubisoft, to BioWare, to anyone who's doing these service type games, to really watch out. Because I think they're trying to oversaturate the market. I'd also be hesitant to call Rainbow Six Siege a service type game, because I'd consider that one to be more of like a not a hero shooter, but it's more of a competitive shooter than anything else. But whatever. More polish has been the watchword for Ubisoft since 2016, when it announced that there would be no annual Assassin's Creed game that year for the first time since 2008. Speaking about companies, 2 key franchises in 2016, Ubisoft VP of Editorial Tommy Francois laid down a philosophy, and I quote, "more quality, more polish. So if this means biting the bullet and not having an Assassin's Creed game or Far Cry in 2017, fuck it." Yeah, I agree with that. It seems he wasn't lying. Far Cry 5, or end quote. It seems he wasn't lying. Far Cry 5 was indeed announced for a 2018 release and was subsequently delayed to allow for more polish. As for Assassin's Creed, it seems we'll be spending more time in Egypt with the release of the Discovery Tour DLC on February 20th and the Curse of the Pharaoh packs in March. There we go. That's the name of the next one. Going by Guillemot's comment, there may be more to come. And I guess we'll transition into this next article because, like I said, on the 20th, the Discovery Tour, which is kind of you can walk around and there's no combat. It's basically like a big museum tour of the world they built. It's an interesting concept. I think it was free DLC too. So, but I added this one because I just saw this one and this was kind of funny. Ubisoft censors nude statues in Assassin's Creed Origins Discovery Mode. The newly enabled Discovery Mode in Assassin's Creed Origins may be one of the most historically accurate ways to explore ancient Egypt, but at least one detail has been altered to match modern sensibilities. Statues of nude figures have their naughty bits covered with seashells, sometimes not generally seen in the world of ancient art, but also not unheard of. For example, changing times and tastes led to the altering even of masterworks like Michelangelo's nude figures in the Sistine Chapel. The Assassin's Creed Origins Discovery Tour launched on February 20th and lets you just wander in the world Ubisoft so painstakingly created. 4 years of historical research went into building the game's world, and such of a time machine is about as close as you can get to walking the streets of Giza. The changes are probably just Ubisoft hedging against possible outcry by concerned parents who don't appreciate the works of the ancient world. But we reached out to Ubisoft for an official word on the change. We'll update the story when we hear back. And here's the response, and I quote, Discovery Tour was was created to offer the maximum amount of people from various ages and cultural backgrounds to the ability to visit the long-lost world of ancient Egypt and learn about its history. We worked hand in hand with educators and academic institutions to tailor the content to be suited for every audience, including younger students, taking into account cultural sensitivities that can be different from one country to another, end quote. Yeah, like I said, I don't have much to say about this. I mean, it makes me chuckle, but I get it. It just makes me laugh. And I thought, I don't know, I'd add this because I thought maybe you guys would enjoy this too. Moving on, we got an article from Timur Hussein over at GameSpot. Death Stranding cast adds The Last of Us and Days Gone actors. Prolific video game performance actor Troy Baker has joined the cast of Hideo Kojima's Death Stranding, along with Emily O'Brien, another well-known actor that has been featured in a number of big games. This is freaking me out. This just keeps doing this in this article. O'Brien had made the announcement on Instagram by posting a picture of herself with Baker and Norman Reedus, who has also been confirmed as one of the main characters in Death Stranding. And I quote, "Honored to be working alongside these two fine lads on Hideo Kojima's new project Death Stranding," end quote, reads the caption. "I'm a lucky gal." O'Brien recent credits include Days Gone, which is in development at Sony's Bend Studios, Arcane Studios, Dishonored, Death of the Outsider, Telltale's Batman, The Enemy Within, and Guardians of the Galaxy series, and World of Final Fantasy. Did she play Emily in Dishonored? That's got to be what it is. I'm not sure Enemy Within or Guardians. I can't remember who she played. Baker, meanwhile, is reprising the role of Joel for Naughty Dog's The Last of Us Part 2, and most recently voiced Talion in Middle-earth: Shadow of War. Oh, wow, I actually didn't know that he voiced Talion. Although I guess it's not surprising. Sam Drake in Uncharted 4 and The Lost Legacy, and is Batman/Bruce Wayne in Telltale series based on DC's Dark Knight. But again, I mean, if it's not Troy Baker, it's Nolan North. Those two, are the dudes who are in everything. But basically same person. As of yet, there hasn't been a confirmed Death Stranding release date, but Kojima hinted that it might launch 2018. No fucking way it launches this year. No way. It also stars Mads Mikkelsen, Hannibal, from Hannibal, director Guillermo del Toro, Pan's Labyrinth, The Shape of Water, and other creepy movies. The Pacific Rim, that shit show. Honestly, the one thing Guillermo del Toro that I really liked is Troll Hunters. It's a Netflix kind of original series, whatever. It's a DreamWorks. It's done in collaboration with DreamWorks. It's a really nice animated cartoon show. I really liked the first season, and then the second season, in my opinion, really kind of crapped its pants. But and Norman Reedus, The Walking Dead. The last Death Stranding trailer was 8 minutes long, and although it's very exciting, creates a whole bunch of new questions, which is pretty standard for Kojima's titles. Yeah. In April, Kojima spoke a little bit about the game, explaining why he wanted Norman Reedus to be naked in the game's first trailer. We've also since learned why its fog looks so nice. All in all, I'm more interested in Death Stranding than I am with anything. I mean, I say, am I like, ooh, I can't wait for it to come out? No, because I have a feeling it's going to be Kojima. It's going to be weird, and it's going to be. And don't get me wrong, Kojima, absolute genius. I'm probably going to love the game when I play it, but I have a feeling that I'm just going to be sitting there confused as hell for most of the time. And my big problem with whatever the hell Kojima does is his. With all these trailers, is it doesn't look like there's any sort of coherent narrative. It's like, oh, look, where there's it kind of looks like London in the middle of a war, and you see this guy with this baby. But the first trailer, we had Norman Reedus naked on a beach with all these weird tendrils going around. And then the latest trailer we saw, it looked like they were on the moon. It's just, what the hell is happening? Now that I think about it, I should have put this before the Death Stranding article, because this is a Ubisoft thing, but oh well. Rainbow Six Siege won't get a sequel. Dev's goal is 100 operators over 10 years. Article Shabana R of IGN. Rainbow Six Siege's player base has been growing, and as the game reaches an audience of 27 million, the developer says it has no plans for a sequel. Instead, it plans to continues to support the game for 10 years with the goal of reaching 100 operators. And I quote, "We've communicated already a couple of times about how the vision of the game is to bring it to 100 operators," said branch director Alexandra Ramey, hopefully that's correct, at the Rainbow Six Invitational 2018. And I quote, Today we have 36 operators. Year 3 will bring 8 new operators. The goal of 100 is not only a symbol, but it's a testament to the longevity that we want to put in the game. Again, we are claiming extremely loud here. There is no sequel planned, and we are here for the next 10 years. So expect more Rainbow Six in your life for quite some time. End quote. See, I think actually, I'll just finish this out and then I'll keep going. Plans for Year 3 were laid out at the latest developer diary, with 2 operators dropping in each of the 4 seasons. The first season, Chimera, will also see a limited time event that pits players against aliens and Outbreak. Season 1 of Year 3 kicks off on March 6th and adds the Lion and Finka attack operators. I think there's a few things to do in here. One, I think they're trying to avoid the situation that Destiny 2 did, where Destiny 1 got to a certain point by the end of the game, and from what everyone's telling me, because I didn't stick with Destiny 1 that long, Destiny 2, which I actually liked where Destiny 2 started, but it was kind of a step back. Like, they tried to make changes, but they didn't go forward. It kind of brought the game back, and now it's kind of getting back to where it was with updates and fixes and everything. I don't mind that, but I get where people's frustrations come from for it, if that makes sense. And I think maybe Ubisoft is trying to avoid that. The other thing I think they're doing is I think they're trying to make Rainbow Six kind of the next Counter-Strike. I think that's what they're shooting for. I think they're trying to make this very, very Counter-Strike-esque in its longevity, that they're going to do like 10 years with just updates and then maybe make a sequel down the road. But for now, it's just we're going to keep taking this base concept and just keep trying to make it better. Now, how good is Rainbow Six Siege? I can't tell you. I've never played it. I saw that there was like a free-to-play weekend. I think it was last weekend. I just didn't get around to playing it. I've had people tell me it's really great. I've just... competitive multiplayer games just don't interest me, but I'll throw the question out there to you guys. Is it worth it? Is it good? If it is, maybe I'll give it a shot. So, who knows? Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 13. Okay, I got 13. Okay, I'll do 2 more, and then I'll stand up, take a break. Sorry, I'm doing math. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds to get 3rd map within the next 4 months. Article from Eurogamer.net. Article by Tom Phillips. God, I wish I could increase the font size here. I always had trouble reading on Eurogamer. Let's see here. The planet-conquering PlayerUnknown's Battleground will get its 3rd in-game map within the first half of this year, aka before the end of June. A roadmap of game updates will be shared in March. Developer Bluehole promised via a new Steam update today. Chief among these updates will be details of PUBG's 3rd map following the Russia set Erangel and the recent Central American set Miramar. Despite PUBG's popularity, new features have been slow to trickle out in recent weeks and months, something especially notable when you compare the game to its big Battle Royale rival Fortnite, which has made a point of having a new feature or update every few weeks. The long wait for fresh PUBG content is in part due to Bluehole's recent focus on banning cheaters. More than 1 million accounts were banned in January alone. Now, I think bringing up a point right here that it's not dropping features as fast as Fortnite is. Yeah, I understand why you bring this point up, but at the same time, I think this is how PUBG has been almost the entire time, though. I mean, I don't think they've been making small tweaks to this game since what? I mean, it was in early access for what, about a year and a half, almost maybe a full year of people just playing this before the game even came out. I don't think that's going to bother people. The fact that they're not constantly making new features. I think PUBG is kind of this is the game when it dropped in. Because, I mean, it lasted it lasted with massive popularity for about a year with 1 map and 1 game mode. I don't think this game has anything to worry about for the fact of, we got to add new features and new updates. I think it's just fine with existing on its own. And I quote, earlier this year, development of some of the major features and systems was delayed as our focus shifted towards tightening our anti-cheat effort, Bluehole wrote. Also due to other reasons, we have not been able to show you the team's development roadmap for 2018. We would like to ask for our players' generous understanding that despite the team's eagerness to share what we have been planning and working on, the timing had to be changed. We do have a lot of exciting things that we want to share with you, including new content to provide more extensive Battle Royale experiences, as well as improvements and modifications to create a deeper and more realistic gameplay. In March, the team will reveal what you can expect for us in the final half of 2018 in terms of our development and new content plans, which, by the way, include a new map, end quote. It's not the first we've heard from PUBG's third map. Last year, Bluehole teased its location as being around the Adriatic Sea, hopefully that's how that's pronounced, with both a sandy coastline and snowy mountains. Today's blog post accompanies a new game update which fixes some bugs and makes a few other minor changes. You'll no longer be able to see the inside of the aeroplane at the start of a match, for example, but can check the number of remaining passengers via a new counter on the UI. What was I thinking? I know you're not in my head. I get what they're saying. I think they're really trying to. I know I just said that this game was existing fine without many like real content updates. It's just making bug fixes. Although hearing that, it makes it sound like, okay, I guess they are going to really maybe add some more content, maybe try and battle it out with Fortnite. But I think if they do that and do it well, Fortnite doesn't stand a chance compared to what PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds has been doing. And maybe I don't know shit because I don't know many people who've been playing Fortnite, so I don't know much about it. So I'll say that at least. I don't know much about Fortnite. So here, before we take a break, we have Max Payne dev's next game gets a 2019 release date. Article Shabana RF IGN. Remedy's new project, codenamed P7, is slated for a 2019 release. The third-person action game was referred in the company's financial statement and is currently in production and progressing according to plans. We first heard about P7 last year when 505 Games and Remedy Entertainment entered into a publishing agreement for the title, described as, and I quote, a cinematic third-person action game set in a new Remedy-created universe. P7 will create game mechanics and storytelling techniques that will offer gamers longer-lasting game experiences, end quote. It will also offer, and I quote, the deepest mechanics yet in a Remedy game, end quote. Another unrevealed game was also referenced, the Remedy hiring staff to work on the project this year. I'm not going to sit here and try and make speculations because I don't know what the hell. I'm horrible at these kind of things. I'm horrible at these speculations, especially when we have like no information on the game, only these kind of concepts. But I'm interested. I like what Remedy does. Although I would take a Max Payne sequel, I would take a Quantum Break sequel. Hell, I've been screaming about it for years. For the love of God, make an Alan Wake sequel. Granted, American Nightmare was fun, but I want like a legit, honest Alan Wake sequel. I really want that. Yeah. Like I said, I'm going to take a quick break. It'll seem like only a second to you guys because I'll cut out the break, but I'm going to stand up, whatnot. And we're back with an article from GameSpot written by Tamoor Hussain. Saints Row Metro Dead Island publisher Koch Media acquired by THQ Nordic. I believe this was an article that was sent to me by a buddy of mine, Samori Roden, subscriber on the channel. Dude, thanks for sending me this. Because I don't remember actually seeing this anywhere else other than when you sent it to me. So, thanks, dude. Let's see here. Article reads, THQ Nordic, the Austria-based company currently in possession of the Darksiders, Red Faction, and The Blob properties. The Blob has acquired Koch Media, the parent company of Dead Island. Or is it Koch Media? I think it's Koch Media, but I could be totally wrong. Dead Island, Saints Row, and Metro publisher Deep Silver. The deal, which is set for approval later today, was worth 121 million euros. That's approximately $149 million. The acquisition means that THQ Nordic now owns all of Koch Media's assets, which includes the studio's intellectual properties and licenses such as the Metro game series. Koch Media's business also includes firms which are created, and I quote, primarily for German and Italian-speaking territories, end quote. Noteworthy studios that are part of the acquisition includes Volition, which is responsible for the Saints Row series, Dambuster, which is behind Homefront, and Fish Labs Entertainment, known as the Galaxy on Fire series. Known for the Galaxy on Fire series. Maybe this is good, because for the good love of God, make another Saints Row game. Please, just make it. As far as Homefront goes, that series can burn in a fire after this monstrosity of a video game. I got into an argument with somebody down in the comment section of one of my Homefront videos, and I think I was just bashing the game, and he said that he liked it. And look, I'll take this moment to say, if you disagree with me when I say that I think something's a piece of crap, fine, disagree with me. That is entirely. I don't get offended that you disagree with me. I don't. Let me hear your opinions. Tell me why you like it. And I'll tell you why I don't like it. And let's talk. I'm very open to that kind of stuff, because this is all subjective. And note, everything that I say that I'm not reading straight out of the articles are my interpretations, are my opinions, are my whatever. Anything that I say that's not written down should be taken as either speculation, opinion, anything like that. Anything that's written in these articles, that is the fact. These are the people who do true journalism. I'm just some, joke who sits here and cracks wise. But yeah, I will still bash on Homefront, The Revolution. I thought that game was crap. But either way. And I quote, "I strongly believe that THQ Nordic is a great strategic fit with Koch Media," said Clements Kundratitz, I hope that's correct, Koch Media CEO, who will continue in his role as chief executive. In addition to having long experiences in games development and publishing, THQ Nordic has the skills, willingness, and capital to deliver growth in the future, end quote. Lars Wingefers, CEO THQ Nordic, indicated that Koch Studios will continue to operate as normal, with both Volition and Dambuster working on new unannounced AAA games, in addition to 4A's Metro Exodus. Can't wait for Exodus. For the good love of God, Volition, make another Saints Row. I know that Agents of Mayhem was an attempt to make another Saints Row. It was not good. It was not. I tried it. It wasn't good. Well, I don't want to say it wasn't good. It wasn't Saints Row. To me, it felt like it was trying to mix Crackdown with Saints Row, and it didn't work. Where was I in this thing? Oh, right here. Last year, THQ Nordic announced Biomutant, a third-person action game set in a fantasy universe. It also has Darksiders 3 in the pipeline, which is being developed by Gunfire Games, a studio made up of all ex-Vigil Games employees, all of which worked on the original Darksiders and its sequels. I need to play the first Darksiders and the sequel, and then I'll play Darksiders 3. And Biomutant looks interesting. So, with all of these, with all of these things, whenever games like this are, whenever studios purchase other studios, I don't start freaking out right away. I wait until we hear more about what's happening, because maybe this is a good move, maybe it isn't. I don't know. So I'm going to keep the speculation, because also I'm not a business guy, so I don't know any of that sort of stuff. But that's what happens. And once more, Samori dude, thanks for sending me that article. Next, we got an article on IGN, if the page will load, because of course I keep too many tabs open when I do these shows. Bandai Namco to aggressively create original IP, article Shibano RF IGN. Bandai Namco's future plans include aggressively creating new and original IP. In the company's Q3 financial report, it announced the creation of a new IP creation unit. That's an interesting thing, which will sit alongside divisions for toys, videos, and music, amusement, and games. All right? The unit will, and I quote, invest aggressively in IP creations, end quote, and won't just focus on video games. Interesting. To facilitate the creation of a new, new IP, Bandai Namco is investing 25 billion yen, approximately $232 million over the next 3 years, and I quote, on top of its normal investments, end quote. The upcoming Code Vein is the company's next new IP, and it sounds like it's just the beginning. The company is also currently rumored to be working on Ridge Racer 8 and Metroid Prime 4 for the Switch. Neither of those have been confirmed, like I said, rumored, but despite a dip in profits, sales were up Bandai Namco last quarter, with Dragon Ball Z Fighters bringing in 65.4 billion yen, $607 million. The game is making its debut at EVO 2018. This year, the producer Tomoko Hiroki announced that she will be a competitor. I I've heard from a lot of people how much they really like DBZ Fighter. I've seen it, and honestly, I like the Budokai series a lot better. I know maybe I'm going back a ways, but I don't know. I'm glad people enjoy it. I'm not super big into what Bandai Namco does, although Code Vein has me interested in. I believe the new Seven Deadly Sins game was also Bandai Namco. Could be wrong on that, but again, they're more power to them. Keep making your new IPs, and I'll check them out and talk about them as they come out. All right, into some remaster news. Again, if the page will load, it's always IGN is the one that always gives me the most trouble. Blob Remastered for Nintendo Switch announced. I just like saying Blob. Brian Barnett, IGN. The remastered version of 3D platformer Blob is coming to Nintendo Switch this year. Publisher THQ Nordic announced on Twitter it will work together with port specialist studio Bitworks to bring the game to Nintendo's popular system, although a specific release date has not been announced. Give me a second. Excuse me. THQ Nordic tweet here. THQ Nordic is pleased to announce that the remastered version of Blob, of hashtag Blob, will be coming to hashtag Nintendo Switch in 2018, again in collaboration with Blitworks. Did I say Bitworks? Yeah, it's Blitworks, excuse me. Hashtag platformer, hashtag action game, hashtag the THQ Nordic, hashtag Blitworks. Yeah, there's a lot of hashtags and ats. While the Blob originally released on Wii in 2008, last year saw the release of a remastered version for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and PC. The game spawned a sequel, The Blob 2, I didn't actually know that, which also launched on PC last year and is coming later this month to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. For more on The Blob, be sure to check out IGN's review of both The Blob and The Blob 2, 8.4 and 8.0 respectively. Not much I can say about this. I don't know much about The Blob. I still can't believe I'm saying The Blob, but I knew people who liked it, so I'll leave it with that, and anybody interested, there's some The Blob news. Coming up, we have another remastered title that I'm nowhere near excited about. I know people absolutely love Spyro the Dragon. My ex-girlfriend loves Spyro the Dragon, and that's enough for me to say, jump in a hole, that entire franchise. But seriously, though, I don't want to say that it's like I can't... I just saw that and just went, ugh. It's like whenever I see the new Magic School Bus animation, it just makes me go, oh... Alright, I totally forgot what I was going to say. Jordan Serrani, IGN. A Spyro the Dragon Trilogy Remaster is reportedly coming to PlayStation 4 as a timed exclusive in Q3 2018. According to Kotaku UK, the remastered trilogy will include Spyro the Dragon, Spyro 2, Ripto's Rage, and Spyro Year of the Dragon. The three games will reportedly feature all new assets, lighting, animations, and cinematics, a remastered soundtrack, an overhaul to the original save system, and PlayStation 4 Pro support. An official announcement is expected next month. The exclusivity deal will reportedly last 1 year, allowing the collection to be released on other platforms in 2019. The report also claims Sony made a similar 1-year deal with Activision on the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, meaning the collection should come to other platforms later this year. According to one Kotaku source, the Spyro Trilogy will be released in September, which would line up with the series' 20-year anniversary. Vicarious Visions, the Activision-owned studio behind the Crash trilogy, is said to be developing the Spyro collection. Reach out for Activision for a comment. The announcement could come less than a year later. Activision released the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy, which was met with commercial and critical success. We gave the collection an 8.5 in our Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy review, saying director Vicarious Visions, and I quote, additions make the overall package so much more cohesive, while never forgetting what made and what still makes so much of Naughty Dog's original trilogy a blast to play. All in all, I'll give it a shot when it comes out, maybe. I'm not sure if I'll play it on PS4 or wait for it to come to the Switch, because I feel like I might enjoy it more on the Switch, but all in all, I'm not super excited. Maybe you guys can try and convince me to be more excited and whatnot. All that. I guess kind of in some more remastered news / stuff we're going to get into in the final two articles. It kind of bridges the gap between those. Burnout Paradise Remastered won't have microtransactions, according to an article here on PC Gamer. Words and Indie Chalk. wrote it. Let's see here. Burnout Paradise Remastered, a high-res redo of Criterion's 2018 open-world racer bundled with 8 DLC packs from the Year of Paradise, is coming to consoles in March and PC sometime after that. Okay, there we go. That's how that reads. It sounds like a pretty sweet package, but enthusiasm was dampened somewhat when someone noticed that the PlayStation Store listing had a line stating in-game purchases optional. It was a notable inclusion because Burnout Paradise is remastered, like the original release, is being published by EA, whose overreach in Star Wars Battlefront 2 is largely responsible for catalyzing the current campaign against loot boxes. Yup. Its reputation with regard to in-game purchases is not exactly stellar. Fortunately, that's not actually happening here. The optional in-game purchases notation has since been removed from the listing, and community manager Ben Walk hit up Twitter to say that the listing was a mistake. Ben Walk's Twitter says, just a heads up, but the store listing for hashtag Burnout Paradise that mentions, and I quote, in-game purchases optional, end quote, is an error. There is no MTX or any additional paid content. Pitchforks down, please. PC Gamers N pointed out that one DLC pack that Burnout Paradise Remastered doesn't include is the Time Savers pack, which unlocks all 35 vehicles in the base game, along with their burning route and some carbon variants, and the gold and platinum paint schemes. Unless someone changes their mind, that means you'll have to do the work for them if you want them. Okay. The full listing of what you'll need to do and what you'll get for your efforts is up at EA.com. Mostly, I just included this to say I actually really want this game because I really like Burnout. I really like Burnout Paradise. I remember the game really wasn't a story. There wasn't much to it. It was just fun to drive around in it, fun to crash into things, and I also liked that it had Guns N' Roses' Paradise City, and I love that song. So, yep. So that game just mentioned, Battlefront 2 with all the loot boxes and everything. We've been hearing about this stuff happening in Europe. Welcome to the States. Legislation proposed in Hawaii to limit sale of loot boxes. Article Hope Corrigan, IGN. Lawmakers in Hawaii have proposed a series of bills that target the sale of loot boxes in video games. The Hawaii Tribune Herald reports the legislation aims to address potentially exploitative monetization like loot boxes, which can lead to players harboring gambling addictions. Oh my fucking lord. Okay. They are not exploitative. That is a bullshit term. Loot boxes are annoying, especially the way that Battlefront 2 did it. I think when that game came out, I was reading Brian Altano from IGN talking about how, I haven't spent anything on loot boxes, and I'm able to place in the top of my team. Well, okay, yeah, you didn't need to buy loot boxes in that game, but you needed your drops to be really because progression in that game is so heavily based on the drops you get in loot boxes for winning and doing and for other things like that. Your progression is very heavily based on your drops. Well, okay, so the more drops you get, the better chances you have at better items. So the more, if you buy stuff, you're more likely. The more stuff you buy, the more likely you're going to get items. That's just purchasing things. That's not gambling. How many flippin' times do I have to say? I mean, it's the concept of, well, if you and another player, you play against each other and you're playing for a prize, well, that's gambling. No, it's not. Then a pie eating contest is gambling. It's just they're stretching that term of gambling, and also I don't like and right here lead to players harboring gambling addictions. The government has no. And I'm gonna get a little political here. I try to keep my politics out of out of my channel and out of my video game stuff. But the government has no right to get involved with my addictions. That is my thing to deal with. That's my family's thing to deal with. If I have a gambling addiction, let me go to Gambling Addicts Anonymous. I'm pretty sure that exists. But actually, it does. I know it. I know it exists. But still, that shit really bothers me when the government's getting in my way of me playing my video games, and also in the way of businesses doing what they want to do, either good or bad. I don't like it. Two of the bills if passed, we will stop sales of games in which players under the age of 21 can use real money to buy randomized rewards. How exactly that could be regulated? Holy shit! Holy shit! You are kidding me. If I'm reading this correctly, it's not even loot boxes. I mean, because there are things that you can buy that, you can use real money to get in-game currency or coins or whatever to buy something that will then give you a randomized reward, like a skin. It doesn't even have to be... It doesn't even have to actually affect gameplay. It can just be a skin. Holy shit! And it's not even banning this feature or banning this feature in games, which I have enough of a problem with. This is stopping the sale of games. Wow. All right, I do. Which players are needed? Okay, maybe I misread that. Maybe I misread that a little bit. Now thinking about it, maybe this is they're going like if. But I mean that would like include Overwatch, which is not a M-rated game. It's a T-rated game, if I'm correct. I don't play a lot of Overwatch, but Overwatch has loot boxes. So does that mean if this passes, people under the age of 21 now can't buy Overwatch? You have to be over the age of 21 to play Overwatch? Or is this the game itself, you can't sell the game to anyone? Or is it just only to those above the age of 21? I think that's what it is. I think it's to only people above the age of 21. But that is absolutely ridiculous. And yes, I understand. This is just in the state of Hawaii. But we'll keep going. Another set of bills would see games with purchasable loot boxes or other random rewards feature labels to disclose as such, as well as display the probability rates for prizes. Okay, this one I wouldn't mind as much. I think this is dumb and unnecessary. But at least you're not stopping anything. I can deal with this one. This one, that needs to be purged with fire. Not the lawmakers, not anything, but this concept of if we pass this, we regulate the sale of video games. We regulate the creation of video games. I can't stand that stuff. Longtime gamer and state representative Chris Lee, who revealed last year that he and others were looking into such legislation, now says, and I quote, "I've watched firsthand the evolution of the industry from one that seeks to create new things to one that's begun to exploit people, especially children, to maximize profit," end quote. That is utter and complete bullshit. It's not exploitative. How is it exploitative? The fact that they're selling something? Or is it the concept that, like with Battlefront 2, if you want a better chance of having the better drops, you buy more stuff? That's not exploitative. I mean, look, is it a little scummy for the company? Is it a money grab? Yes. Is it exploitative? No. Because exploitative, in my opinion, that a money grab is not, there's no malicious intent. It's just a company trying to make money. I get it. I'm a capitalist. I'm all for companies trying to make money. Look, what they're doing is legal. Is it a shitty thing to do? And will it piss people off? Yes. But saying it's exploitative means that they're trying to hurt people. To me, that's what exploitative means. Or that's how I'm interpreting it. I'm saying there's actual malice there. And not just... Ugh. It's a $300 billion industry, Lee said. It's bigger than Hollywood. It's an industry that can reach into everyone's pockets and phones and consoles and PCs, but there's no authority to force them to disclose their practices, end quote. What the hell are you talking about, dude? Okay. Hawaii is not the only state looking to impose legislation. A Washington state senator is also pushing it for a new bill. Loot boxes have become big news all over the world since controversy around Star Wars Battlefront 2's microtransactions, though countries like the UK and New Zealand declared the loot boxes are not gambling, because they are not. Belgium, on the other hand, sees the issue differently and is seeking to ban loot boxes in Europe. Okay, well, now we're getting into my problem with the EU, but no, if it's not clear, my big problem here is the government getting involved with the video game industry. They have no right. They have no need. This is absolutely ridiculous that the government is getting involved in this. And like I said, I'm trying to keep politics out of this, but with this story, I can't. This is a massive overreach into an industry that might be doing something shitty, but is not exploitative. It's not trying to harm people. It's just companies trying to make money. This is utter and complete bullshit. And it really pisses me off. And again, it's not because the companies are doing this that's pissing me off. It's because the fact that the government's trying to get involved with it. And the thing that always makes me afraid is that this sets precedent. And we're going to keep talking about precedent, especially in this next article. Final one we got today, also by article by GameSpot, along the same vein. Violent video games should be taxed extra, lawmakers said. Article by Eddie Makuch, GameSpot. Rhode Island State Representative Robert Dolilo, I have no idea how to pronounce that, has proposed legislation in the Ocean State that seeks to add an extra tax on violent video games. In a news release this week, the Republican lawmaker said the funds from this tax would go towards mental health and counseling resources. Oh, fuck you! This legislation would be put an additional 10% sales tax on video games sold in Rhode Island that carry the M for mature or higher rating for the ESRB. Fuck you, dude. Oh my god. Look, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying I have a problem with more money going to mental health and counseling, whatever. I'm autistic, I have a stress and anxiety disorder, I go to my campus's counseling center. I get counseling and therapy and whatnot. I have no problem with that. But now you're going to tax my video games because they're violent? And look, and I understand entirely where this is coming from. This is a response to the Parkland thing that happened, Parkland shooting. I don't want to be insensitive. Whatever. I'm not making any commentary on Parkland here. That's for a totally different kind of channel. What I'm saying is that is what any sort of mass event like that is going to have people talking about this kind of stuff. And I can't stand it. They are reaching into an industry they have no business being in. And you're going to, again, another 10%. Fucking ridiculous. Rhode Island's sales tax is 7%, meaning $60 games actually cost $64.20, with an extra 10%. An M-rated game like Grand Theft Auto 5 would cost $70.20. That's a good amount extra. I agree. Nardole, and again, it's one of those, it's another $6, but I still say, I think that's, and also 7% sales tax, that's a little ridiculous in my opinion, but again, we're getting into political talk. But yeah, it's more the principle thing. It's like I said, it's precedent. It's the fact that one state does it, now every state can do it. It's like when people start to try and clamp down on free speech. I have an issue with it, because I'm afraid that if you get this one extreme group, now you're going to come after me, or you're going to come after the next guy. It scares me a little. Let's see here. That's a good amount extra. Representative says the revenue from the tax would be put into a special account to be dispersed to schools, districts, and for the purpose of funding counseling, mental health programs, and other conflict resolution activities. Fucking shit. Once more, this is a roundabout way of saying my video games are causing me to be violent. That's not true. Violent media, and if you're taxing my M-rated video games, you should be taxing M-rated or R-rated movies, in my opinion. In that same sense, because the violent media, there have been links to increased aggression. As far as violent acts go, there's never been any sort of proven link, anything other than a correlative link. There's been no causal link between the two. So, and again, it's like I said, I have no problem with money going to funding counseling and mental health programs and but I have a problem when you're adding to my sales tax for a particular item. That's like, it's very similar to, it's not prohibition, I can't remember the name of the tax, but alcohol wouldn't have a normal sales tax. It would also have another tax added onto it. I can't remember what they were called, and I could be remembering this a little incorrectly. I could be having my history a little off, but still, that really bothers me. It's that we're taking your already 7% sales tax and making it basically 17% tax on a specific item for no freaking reason. No, let me rephrase. It has a reason, but not. You're doing this to get people off your back. I know exactly why they're doing this. It's politicians. It's just, oh. Okay. I'm trying to calm down. And our quote, our goal is to make every school in Rhode Island a safe and calm place for students to learn. Breathe. Nardoli said in the news release, by offering children resource management, their aggression today, we can ensure a more... I need a minute. Okay. So now we've covered that this guy is basically Helen Lovejoy from The Simpsons. It's won't someone think of the children. I hate that argument. I hate the won't someone think of the children argument when it comes to video games. Video games are art. Supreme Court ruled on that one. And as I've always said, I don't care what a video game makes. What matters is, am I willing to spend money to play it? And now, in fact, this almost feels like this is a way to hurt the industry without trying to make violent games illegal. You're now using government as almost a club to tell these companies that that to make these games and to make money off these games, you have to sell even more of them compared to other games. It's like trying to regulate the flow of the industry, but not, without doing it directly. I really don't like it. I don't like this for many, many reasons. And this fucking... Where's my mouse? And this paragraph right here, again, you want to help the children. You want to do all this stuff. Fine, I understand it. Look, kids have aggression. I have aggression. I'm not saying we don't. But the way we deal with it, which is... which is this, no, you can't be aggressive with people. You can't do this. Look, when I was a kid, I was born in 94. I mean, so I was on the tail end of this. When I was a kid, kids got into a scuffle. Okay, it was kids being kids, because that's what we did. Nowadays, it's this, oh my gosh, two kids got into a fight. Yeah, they're kids. And there was no... It drives me up a wall. Just Jesus Christ. What's his name? Proposed legislation comes just days after the horrific high school shooting in Parkland, Florida. In the wake of the tragedy, President Trump said level of violence in video games is, he's heard people say, really shaping young people's thoughts. Bullshit. No, well, I mean, not that people aren't saying that, but still, complete and utter bullshit. What's his face went on to say, without citing any specific study or data, that, and I quote, there is evidence that children exposed to violent video games at a young age tend to act more aggressively than those who are not. You piece of shit. He added, this bill would give schools the additional resources needed to help students deal with that aggression in a positive way. You motherfucker. You piece of shit. I'm serious. I'm trying to stay coherent. And I'm sorry I'm cursing so much, and I'm yelling, and I'm not trying to. But oh my god, this really, really pisses me off. This I think is the one that pisses me off the most. Yes, there's a link to aggression and violence in media, not video games, in media. Be it your television, your movies, or your video games. Any of those does cause heightened aggression. But the fact is, heightened aggression does not cause violent acts. You want to give kids better ways to deal with aggression? That isn't the federal government's issue. That is a state government issue. And again, I'm getting into politics, and this is also really bugging me because this is now a political thing I'm talking about on my channel, and I don't want to talk about politics, and I am very angry right now. Okay. Two more paragraphs. Some argue there is assuredly a link between playing violent video games and increased levels of aggressive behavior, while others maintain that games themselves do not cause violence. Because those are two different arguments, but are rather one prominent risk factor for violent real-world behavior. No. See, but right here, but again, these are two different things. The link between aggressive behavior and violence. Aggressive behavior can include violence, but does not always include violence. Is a prominent risk factor for violent real-world behavior? I would say it's maybe a factor, but is it a prominent risk factor? But I think right there, they're conflating aggressive behavior with violence. That is not true. Those aren't the same thing. Okay, calm down. This is not the first time a politician has called for an excessive tax. For an excise tax, there we go, on specific video games. After the Sandy Hook shooting in Newtown, Connecticut, a lawmaker from the state proposed a similar tax in 2013. Also that year, a representative from Missouri proposed a sales tax on games rated M and above. In both cases, the funds would have gone towards mental health programs. However, the bills never became law. Yeah, because there's a lot of things wrong with that. I don't have a lot else to say. I think I've made my opinions very clear that aggressive behavior and violent acts are different, that aren't necessarily the same thing. I have a problem with the government getting its hands in video games. I've actually become much more angry than I thought I was, so I'm just going to call this one here. Thank you for listening, everybody. We'll be back maybe late next week. It all depends on how well my school's team does. Whatever, once more, thank you for listening. Facebook, Twitter, the website, minds.com. Links, all that stuff is down in the description below. Like, comment, you're not already. Please subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for more next time. But until then, I'm H.A. Kells. This is the Untitled Gaming Channel. I'm out.